Good day, everyone, and welcome to my presentation. I am Glenn G. Pajares of the University of San Jose Recoletos, Cebu City. I am very happy and very excited and very glad, as well as optimistic, to be with you today in this Fabisminda International Conference 2022. My paper is entitled Edith Stein on the Value of Liberal Arts Education or Liberal Education. Let me start with the rationale or introduction of my paper. So around the world, there is a dwindling interest, funding, and support to liberal arts education. In the Philippines, higher education, there is a reduction of the number of general education courses. So just recently, when the K-12 program was introduced in the country, there were major revisions in the general education curriculum in the Philippines. And one of the main revisions is the reduction of the number of general education courses offered in colleges and universities or at the tertiary level. Based on observation also, many students in the tertiary level consider general education courses as minor courses, implying that these courses have inferior worth or value compared to their major courses. For this reason, there's a need to revisit, re-educate, and re-emphasize the value of liberal arts education in the contemporary world or in our present time. This paper presents Edith Stein's view on the value of liberal arts education or liberal education. And now we go to the method or the methodology of this paper. This paper employs the hermeneutic circle, that is, the iterative close reading of the parts to the whole and vice versa of the published works on Edith Stein's philosophy of education or views on education. Likewise, it uses the hermeneutics of distanciation and appropriation of Paul Ricoeur. When we speak of distanciation, we bring the texts or those works on Edith Stein's philosophy of education outside its context and bring it to the here and the now, to our own time and to our own context, so that it can be reinterpreted many times, if not infinite times. And by appropriation, we mean that we accept or embrace the meaning of the text plus our interpretation of the text, thus making interpretation wider or bigger, or the subject or the reader or the interpreter will have a better understanding, a wider understanding of the meaning of these texts. And now we proceed to the results and discussion of the paper. So we ask this question: what is liberal education or liberal arts education? Liberal arts education, or known as artes liberales in Latin, originally refers to courses taken by students that benefit the free man or free individual, not the slaves. It originally comprises arithmetic, astronomy, geometry, grammar, rhetoric, logic, music, among others. Today, it comprises the general education courses with its matters and methods changed from its original aristocratic intent to serve the common people or the public. In ancient Greece, this type of subjects are only taken by free individuals and not slaves. But today, since we no longer have slavery, we consider everybody equal and we respect everybody's dignity and recognize their rights. So general education is now meant for everybody, for the common people or for the general public. Liberal education is a philosophy that employs an interdisciplinary curriculum to cultivate holistic skills and knowledge acumen. It offers a wide exposure to the arts, humanities, social and natural sciences, and empowers learners with a mind and skill set that enables them to be critical members of society, prepared to address complexity, diversity, and change. It aims to develop problem solving skills, analysis, communication, global leadership, and sense of social responsibility. Thus, it is also called liberal arts and sciences education. It aims to develop all aspects of the individual's personality. It enables individuals or learners apply culture and ethical behavior in society. That's what liberal arts education is all about. And now we proceed to Edith Stein on the value of liberal education or liberal arts education. Education for Stein is the holistic formation or development of the human person. It is not just about the acquisition of external knowledge, but it is a transformation, a process that influences change in a person both inside and outside. So, education for Stein is change for the better. If the individual or the student did not become a better person or did not reach self actualization, then education never transpired at all. And if liberal education aims at holistic formation of the human person, therefore, Edith Stein's concept of education refers to or includes liberal arts education. Number two, education is about bringing to perfection the person's gifts, powers, and talents. So it's about human development, developing one's nature and individuality, and helping people reach their destiny, develop or define their profession, and achieve spiritual perfection. Stein also emphasized that education should be liberal. So you see, Stein herself speaks of education as liberal and professional as well as vocational to prepare men and women for the real world of work, whether they choose to pursue real work or not. It is meant to liberate the individual and make, or for them to make wise choices for life. Fourth, education should be geared towards the balance of intellectual and emotional development. So, when Stein speaks of education, she meant the education of the mind or the intellect and the education of the heart and the will. So, this is holistic development indeed. Education should develop both speculative and practical knowledge. Number five, education for Stein is a phenomenology. It is about studying the phenomenon of man. That is, to know or to understand the human person inside and out. That is starting from outside towards the inside. Of who or what man or the human person truly is, and transform or shape him or her to achieve his or her true essence, that is, being an imago Dei or an image of God. And of course, to know and pursue his or her destiny, and that is to be with God. So the goal of education is knowing the human person, his true nature, being an embodied spirit or being destined to be with God because he is created out of God's love or out of God's breath. Sixth, thus, the foundation of education is philosophical anthropology and theology or religious education. So both courses or disciplines fall under liberal education. It starts with philosophical anthropology and culminates in theology. So without liberal education, there is no education at all. Seventh, Education is not just the fulfillment of the individual's potentials, gifts, and talents. It is not just inward looking or concerned with the full development of the self, but it is also altruistic or other centered. It is about knowing other human beings, sharing one's humanity to others, and helping others know and achieve their true essence and destiny. So, the role of education is also to help others know who they are as embodied spirit, as spiritual beings whose destiny is to be with God. So, in other words, we are helping others to be ethical and to be holy so that they will become true images of God and one day be one with God. Hence, education requires the formation of the heart or the will. That is through values education. So, it's essential. You cannot become truly human or reach your destiny to be with God without values education or morals or ethics. So we train individuals to be sympathetic or empathetic, to be kind, generous, loving, and forgiving. So it's also about the formation or the training of feelings and emotions geared towards the common good or helping others to become good. Values education fall under liberal arts education. That's why liberal arts education is important because without values education, which is part of liberal arts education, we can never train people to become sympathetic, empathetic, loving, generous, and forgiving, which is essential in achieving our true nature as images of God and essential in order to be one with God. Stein also emphasized the importance of literature in value formation. Literature is also part of liberal arts education, and literature teaches us morality, teaches us about goodness, about beauty, about universal human truths that are worth emulating or worth living. Ninth, the role of education is to open up the person to his or her own depths and to the depths of the community's value. It helps the individual and the community attain their authentic values or authentic nature. So it's not just teaching them superficial values, which are merely bodily. So, what are these superficial values? These are values that are at the level of pleasures and comfort. But we go beyond that. We move towards spiritual values, which is the deepest core of our essences and the essence of the community. So education is also community oriented. So 10th, according to Stein, the role of the educator is to bring out the best of students. In other words, it is our primordial duty to develop or help them develop their potentials and talents to the full. Help them achieve their true essence. Make them more human, humane, better persons, educated, civilized, not barbaric, not animalistic, but rational, human, ethical, moral, social, politically responsible citizens, global citizens. And it is also our duty to teach them, guide them, and show them the way how they can actualize themselves, how they can live a virtuous, meaningful, happy, and holy life. So, this is the primary duty of the educator or teacher. So, we have a very big responsibility and accountability. So, it's not just enough to teach, it's not just enough to do research or to produce sources of knowledge, references, and knowledge materials, but the greater duty that we have is to mold them to become authentic persons, persons with integrity, persons with good moral character. So that is the role of the teacher. So it goes beyond the classroom. It's about becoming a model of an exemplary life. That's why the vocation or the profession of the teacher is very much highly dignified. It is sacred. So we cannot just say that being a teacher is a lowly profession. It's a vocation and it's a mission. And I hope all teachers will see that. And finally, we say that education for Stein is a lifelong process, though she did not mention of lifelong learners, but that that's what she meant, that education is a lifetime, or even goes beyond lifetime, because the goal of education, the, the ultimate end of education, is to be one with God, is to be with God. That is why it starts with philosophical anthropology and culminates in theology, because at the end of the day, the goal is to be with God in heaven, to live with Him in eternal life. So that's the challenge, and it makes education more noble, because the goal of education is to bring us to heaven. So the teacher is an agent of salvation. It's not just an agent or catalyst of evangelization, but a key player, a very important um, instrument in bringing souls or bringing people to heaven. So that's how important education is, and that's how valuable liberal arts education is. So for our conclusion, we say that for Edith Stein, liberal education or liberal arts education is the foundation of education. Without it, there is no education at all. Without liberal education, the human person cannot achieve his or her true essence and destiny. And there will be no social or political order, and society can never achieve true, complete, and perfect peace. So that's it. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching and listening. And I would like to invite everyone to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Glenn G. Pajares. Kindly watch the videos, click, like, share, and comment. And now I'm ready for interpellation. In other words, your questions, comments, and feedback are very much welcome. So thank you once again.